Welcome to Here We Go Again, where something or someone has done it again. And today I want to talk about something real. Not funny, not dramatic for entertainment, just real. Have you ever noticed something about life? Sometimes the people who are supposed to be your family don't always feel like family. Now, I know that sounds uncomfortable to say out loud because most of us grew up hearing the same thing over and over again. Blood is thicker than water. Family is everything. Family will always be there. But if you're being honest, a lot of people know that that's not always how life works. Some people grow up believing family means love, support, protection, loyalty. But then something happens. Life happens. Situations happen. And suddenly you start seeing people differently. You realize that something you never expected to realize. Sometimes the people you thought would stand beside you are the same people who disappear when life gets hard. And that realization hurts in a different way because when a stranger disappoints you, you can walk away. But then when family disappoints you, it stays with you because deep down you expected more. And what makes it even harder is what people say afterwards. They say things like, well, that's still your family. You only get one family. You have to forgive them. Now, hold on a minute. Why is it that when family hurts you, the conversation immediately becomes, you forgiven them? Why is it the conversation about accountability? Why is it the conversation about responsibility? Why is it the conversation about people showing up for you the same way you showed up for them? That's the part nobody really talks about. Because, see, the truth is, some people spend years showing up for everybody else, supporting everybody else, being there for everybody else. But when it's their turn to need support, suddenly the room gets quiet. Suddenly everybody's busy. Suddenly everybody disappears. And that's when the painful realization starts to form. Sometimes the love you were looking for inside your family, you have to find somewhere else. In friends, mentors, co-workers, people you didn't grow up with, people who didn't share your last name, but somehow they treat you better than the people who actually did. They listen, they show up, they check in on you, they care how you're doing. And that can be confusing for a lot of people because when we are taught that family is supposed to be everything, but life sometimes teaches us a different lesson. Sometimes family is not defined by blood. Sometimes family is defined by loyalty. Family is defined by presence. Family is defined by who shows up when things get difficult, who stands beside you when life gets uncomfortable, who listens when you are hurting, who actually sees you for who you are today, not for who you used to be. And for a lot of people, that realization takes years, years of trying, years of hoping, years of believing things will eventually change. Sometimes they don't, and that's a painful truth, but it's also an honest one. So if you're someone who has ever felt like people closest to you didn't understand you, if you ever felt like the support you needed never came, if you ever felt like you had to build your own circle, your own support system, your own version of a family, just know something. You're not the only one. There are millions of people walking around carrying that same feeling. And sometimes the hardest lesson life teaches us is this: the people you expected to stand beside you won't always be the people who actually do. And when that realization finally sees the truth clearly, you don't always get angry. Sometimes you just get quiet and you sit and you say to yourself, here we go again.